Listen, babe.
Welcome to Coco Caliente. You threw me for a loop there on that intro. I was not expecting that.
I'm always throwing you for a loop.
Yes, you are. So we are in the midst of a snowstorm here in Michigan. I don't know if anybody...
It was just spring like last week.
Literally, the snow was melting, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm tired of all this snow. Because what people don't understand is when you live in a place like this, you're one of many things. Right? Your car is constantly deteriorating because there's salt on the road that gets on the car. So when you get home like the next day or that same day, you got to go and rinse off your car.
In the freezing cold.
But the point is mute, or what's it? The point is mute? The point is mood?
Mute.
The point is, anyway.
I don't know.
You rinse off your car, but you got to do it the next day anyway, right? Because you're going to inevitably drive your car again. Mm-hmm. But then it's also like every time you walk in your car, there's snow on your shoes, so you're going to get stuff in your car. So it's almost impossible to keep your car clean during the winter season.
It's driving Victor nuts.
Oh, because we bought a brand new car. So I'm like going insane with this right now. And then like just coming in and out of your house, you're always tracking in snow. You have to always be super bundled up. Like... And now since it is such a winter storm, we always have to take the better vehicle because the roads are so bad. Mm-hmm. And since I've been working out here, state police, a lot of people are in ditches, a lot of collisions and everything because the roads are bad. And what'll happen is like you'll have a stretch of road, for example, that is clear for a half mile. Mm-hmm. And so in your mind, you're like, oh, the road is fine. And then you'll push it up to like 50, 55. And then next thing you know, it's either a sheet of ice coming up or just a big pile of snow. And then that's how accidents happen. So anyway, that was my quick rant on...
How do you think people from California would do driving in the Midwest?
Oh, it would be a nightmare. So in all those places, well... In California, let's say like the Los Angeles area in Southern California, or even like in Louisiana or places that are like normally warm, when anything even remotely like this happens, let's say just a little bit of snow,
or rain.
Right? Or frozen rain, I mean, roads shut down. I mean, that happens in Louisiana. Sometimes in the winter, if there's any type of snow like that, they'll shut the roads down, schools are closed, whatever.
Just because they don't know how to like go around it? Or is it the road designed to be...
No, it's because the government there, let's say the state government, knows that people in that area aren't accustomed to driving in those conditions. Mm-hmm. So it's more of a hazard to have them on the road than off the road. And because it doesn't happen as frequently, it's okay to, let's say, oh, we're going to shut down school today. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't happen often for that reason.
True. We get a lot of snow days here.
Yeah.
Also, like driving in New York, I couldn't do.
Oh, well.
Because of the traffic. So
you mean like Manhattan and like...
They need to like shut it down if it was ever to get like that here. It's just like the traffic, them honking, them weaving in and out around pedestrians. I just don't get how they're not crashing all the time.
And I've always thought like, what if in New York, what if they said... Okay, let me not generalize. New York is huge. We've been to parts of New York where you can drive. Let's say Manhattan, right? Okay, Manhattan or those areas, right? Or Staten Island or whatever, if they said no cars, more so Manhattan, no cars. You can't have any cars there. All the transportation is going to be public transportation or like maybe mopeds, right?
Right.
You can the biggest vehicle you can have there is like a motorcycle, right?
That's my coffee in the background. Sorry.
Very, very natural, organic feel that we have here on Coco Caliente. But that would be crazy. Like, what if they said no car? Because I remember I saw something online and it was like a picture, and I think this was in Japan. I think it was in Japan. I'm not sure, but basically it showed a picture and it showed all the polluted air, right?
Oh.
Okay, and then it said the government said. These cars can't be on the road. Like all the cars there couldn't be on the road. I think it was for like 2 days because they were going to do a World War II memorial and they were going to take a picture, right? They were going to have a World War II memorial parade or something like that. Mm-hmm. So 2 days later, they took the exact same spot. They took a picture and the sky was like completely clear blue.
Oh, that's sad. Just after 2 days.
Just after 2 days. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, that is crazy.
How many emissions that we have in the world because of that? I don't know. That's why I like living up here because the air is fresh and it's pure.
I heard on the radio that they're thinking about getting rid of the parallel parking in a driving test. which is kind of crazy. I don't know if it's a Michigan thing. This is so random.
That was very off the wall. I thought you were going to say something like, I heard in Michigan they were going to like cap emissions or
no,
whatever.
I heard that the other day.
Okay.
Because there's not a lot of, so where we live, you don't have to parallel park, and a lot of people fail their driving test, I guess, repeatedly because of the parallel parking. So they are very highly thinking about removing it.
Wow. That is interesting. And I will say, not to toot my own horn, but you can attest to this, I am an amazing parallel parker.
I think I am too.
Well, you don't do it as often.
No.
But you remember like when I drove Brittany's car and I parked in what was like...
Oh, yeah, you are very...
There was like no space.
You're a very good driver. I need there to be a lot of space and I need there to be a lot of time. But if there is, I'm fine.
It reminds me of like when Michael Scott, there's this huge open parallel like spot and he pulls up next to it and he starts backing up and he has it all jacked up and then he's like, not too small, and he leaves.
Yeah, well, what the key is pulling up to the car's mirror. And then starting. Yeah,
so pull up as pretty much really close to the car that's in front. Pull up to him, but you got to come. And it's not even that. It's not just pulling up next to him. It's the angle that you start reversing in, right? So if you cut it really close, it's too close because then you're already hitting the curb before you can straighten out. But if you go too wide, you're not in the spot and like half your car's out in the road.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do that a lot. But also, I think it's... Now that we have like a camera for backing up, and I've never had a camera like that, that helps so much.
Oh my God, you guys should see Nicole the first time she saw the camera. She's like, this is too much. I can't look at the camera and look at the mirrors at the same time. I'm going to crash. And I'm like, babe, this car has all types of sensors on it.
It was overwhelming.
It beeps like if you get too close to something, you can see what's going, behind you. It gives you the lines where it's like red is bad, yellow is close, green is good. Right.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know what the colors meant still.
Really? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Honestly, I'm just so used to looking in my mirrors and like driving the old-fashioned way that any camera is just throwing me off. I do like when it beeps if I get too close to something, though. I've used that quite a bit.
That scares me. It honestly, every time Nicole takes our car, like the new one out, and in my head, I'm in here like... Is today going to be the day? Is today going to be the day? Nicole's going to be like, look, there's a minor scratch on it. And then I go out there and like, we got to replace the door, right?
Oh my gosh. I have never been in an accident or caused an accident or anything like that.
I have been in an accident, but it was never my doing.
Okay.
So I've never been at fault for anything. I mean, the other time was our car was parked on the road and somebody hit it. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've never been in an actual, like, I hit somebody and I lie. I reversed into somebody one time, but then they left. So I don't know.
Exactly. Who should we be worried about driving
But
a new
no,
car?
that was one time, and that was like in college. And that person, I guess they either were drinking or didn't have insurance because they left the scene of an accident.
Okay, when you're driving, this is a long intro. I'm sorry, but this is kind of intriguing. Mm-hmm. When you're driving, for me, it's not like a relaxing place. It's more of let's get to the dang destination and let's get done what we need to do. So I've been trying to like relax more in the car and make it, okay, I like to cut off as much time as I can, weave in and out. I do the things that you're not supposed to do just because I'm like the whole time I'm in the car, my head is on the mission of getting to the location. It's not, oh, we have a couple hours in the car, let's listen to something.
Yeah, because see, I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
I get in the car, I get ready, right? Before I even leave the driveway, I make sure I got picked out what I'm going to listen to.
Yeah.
I know the route that I'm going to take, and then I can enjoy the ride.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Opposite. And like every time he drives, I'm thinking, he is like a 120-year-old woman. And I
Why?
Because
I drive so safe?
I can't handle
you know what? Defensive driving, it's where it's at, okay? The speed is not, one, it's dangerous, and two, it's unnecessary.
It's sometimes dangerous to go as slow as you go, though, I think.
No, I don't go that slow
Yes,
for it to be
you do.
dangerous, one. And two, the speed, right? For example, you accelerating to like 70 and then having to go back down to 55 and then accelerating again on little spurts that you can, that literally may save you like 5 minutes.
I know, but I will tell you, a lot of times me going fast has saved me a bit. I'm not going to lie.
I mean... the argument can be made.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. The argument can be made anyway about anything, right? Not wearing my seatbelt would have saved my life. Going faster could have.
True.
Going slower,
It's not, yeah. I just think that you drive like a 120-year-old.
And I will take
and
that.
It's not
any
even
day
a
of the week.
120-year-old man.
I'll take that. I don't care. I get to where I need to be. I'm safe, and I'm not like stressed out. So
yeah, I need to work on that.
When I have to get somewhere, I can get somewhere. But 9 times out of 10, it's not like a life or death situation where I got to get somewhere. So
I know for me, it just feels like some type of mission. I'm obsessed with Best Fiends. I was actually playing it before. I swear to you, I was playing it before we started podcasting, and I said, Victor, I'm doing something really important right now. Like, don't. He was doing the dishes. I'm like, don't look at me like that. Anyways, Best Fiends is such a fun game app. Victor, tell him a little bit about it.
So it has puzzles. It makes you think. It's not repetitive. It's always changing, and you get all these cool little characters, these little bugs. I mean, it is a lot of fun, and I'm actually sad to say that Nicole has far surpassed me.
I'm on level 147 now.
Yeah, so I gotta find more time to play. But what's cool about it is you can literally play whenever, wherever. So if you're, for example, we were on a flight to New York, you have no service, but you can still play. You can play offline.
That's what I did.
Like, it's awesome. It's such a cool game, and it's so engaging. And it's almost like they make the game for their players, right?
Yeah, they update the game monthly with new levels, new events. It never gets old. Even when it was Valentine's Day, like, it turned into this cute, Valentine's Day scene and everything. And it's also, like, it engages my brain a lot, so I like that. It's something, and it's an adult game.
Yeah, because you'll have, for example, it'll be like, oh, I have 4 moves left. I have to connect these strawberries somehow, and I got to figure out the best way to use my 4 moves and still pass the level, or I got to start over again.
And then you, like Vic said, you collect tons of characters. You get to open them up from boxes. It's like, yay! And then you grow them. So you like, give them your credit so that they can get older and better. And
Nicole watches, like, she's like, oh, they're growing up.
They're cuter when they're little, so it's like I don't want them to grow up, but I need them to grow up so I can pass the levels. But like strategically, it's fun because you pick which ones you want to play in the game for you.
Yeah.
Just download it, you guys.
Yeah, obviously it's a lot of fun. We've been playing for quite a bit.
So if you want to engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters, trust me, with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must play. Download Best Fiends for free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. Have fun.
All right. Well, anyway, all this long-winded intro to introduce our guest. He goes by Flip. His name is David, a.k.a. Flip Rodriguez. You may have seen him, and you probably have without noticing. I don't know, because sometimes, I don't know if you guys...
I've seen him, and
Well, I've seen him too, but you know how American Ninja Warrior kind of just like creeps up on you on the TV sometimes, especially in like the hotel room when you turn the TV on, it's like, oh, it's American Ninja Warrior, and you're like, oh, all right, let's watch this.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's
then,
exactly when I watch it. That's so weird.
But it's like super interesting. But anyway, we have David Flip Rodriguez. He's been on several episodes and seasons of American Ninja Warrior. He's writing a book. He's a motivational speaker. So we hope you guys enjoy. Hello, hello, hello.
Right. How you doing?
I'm good. Welcome to Coco Caliente podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry for the little snafu we had with the first phone call.
I had a blonde moment. I tried to. It was saying you didn't have an iPhone, and then I did something wrong.
No, you're good. It's a pleasure to be here.
So yes, like I just said, we have our guest David, aka Flip Rodriguez, big American Idol.
American Idol. It's actually, I legally changed my name to Flip.
Oh really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's jump right into that because I've always been intrigued on people changing their name. So how does that work? Like, do you just go to the judge and be like, hey judge, I want to change my name to Flip?
Well, if it's a lot of paperwork really, but you fill out the paperwork, you go to the courthouse, and then you get an appointment to see a judge, and then you basically just hand them the paperwork, and then they just review it, and then they say, hey, you've been approved. Come pick up your paperwork.
Oh, that's a whole lot easier than I ever thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's just time consuming, really.
When I bet the back end of it too, like you got to get a new driver's license, social security card, like credit cards and all that, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
It's still a mission. I'm still not done.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting. So let's go back before Ninja Warrior. This is what I like to do. So I like to go back and get to know you, and like, because everybody knows you from Ninja Warrior, and then from there, Stuntman, now book and motivational speaker. But let's get back to the raw brass tacks. Like, what were you doing before American Ninja Warrior?
Well, I was just your average street kid playing outside, getting in trouble, jumping in people's yards, playing the average manhunt, and then creating games, obviously. And then at the age of 19, actually, I got into a sport called parkour and free running. Mm-hmm. And that took shine because I didn't really have anything else, I would say, satisfying in my life besides that at the moment.
Yeah.
And then, down the line, 3 years later, I was 21. We did a TV competition in the parkour and free running world called Jump City Seattle. And then Ninja Warrior happened to see that show because that show was on the same channel Ninja Warrior was on. Okay. And they actually called everybody on Jump City Seattle to try and compete on the show. This was before Ninja Warrior became American Ninja Warrior today.
Oh, that's actually really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, so luckily I got into it before it became a thing.
So, because what's funny is I remember when parkour first came out and you start seeing all these YouTube videos and people are just running around, jumping, doing these crazy flips off stuff. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. I watched a lot of the parkour fail videos. Those seem seem very painful. But then on The Office, they talk about parkour too.
Oh yeah, that's where I've heard it. I was like, where did I hear this from?
Yeah. And they're like, parkour. Yeah. And it's just really crazy because I know I would always love to do that stuff. But there's this story that I told Nicole. I remember one time I wanted just to learn to do a backflip, right? And then I go on YouTube, and because at that time I was learning how to do so many things on YouTube. And so I was so excited. I was like, oh, I can conquer anything, right? And then I go through the motions. I tell my dad, all right, look, I just need you to assist me in doing these backflips a couple times, and then I can do it myself. He's like, all right. I did it a couple times. He's like, you could do it now. And then I jump high, and I land right on my back. I think I fractured something. And then that was the end of my parkour journey.
Just like any other sport, it's comes with fear boundaries, and parkour has one of the biggest fear boundaries. So when you have a spot and then you actually go to do it yourself, it actually increases your fear because now there's no one to catch you if you fall.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Probably more likely to fall then because you're just thinking about falling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's a big mental game, really, is what parkour, and that's what really intrigued me into staying into it, but even more so coaching it, because you get these kids that are 6, 7, 5 years old, and now you get to strike what they don't even know yet as the word fear, and then they learn that fear is not real.
Okay.
Right. So you're teaching them life tools at that point. So if you're a really good coach, those are kind of some of the things that you start coaching them with, and then that helps them become better human beings in the long run.
Absolutely. And you have history with fear, hence the mask that you started wearing, when you started American Ninja Warrior. Can you tell us and open up a little bit about that from before any of that started?
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't know is that the mask was actually way before Ninja Warrior. I had the mask during my parkour and free running days.
Oh.
It just happened to become a thing after I aired on American Ninja Warrior Season 3.
Okay.
Right? So that's when all the questions were happening, what's wrong with this kid? Why is he wearing a mask? Yada, yada, yada. He's weird. Actually, I was in boot camp of Season 3, and I was actually last pick.
Oh.
For the schoolyard pick, right? I was kind of like that kid that wasn't talented enough to get picked first, so I was last pick. And then you look down the road now, and I'm one of the top competitors in the show.
First pick.
Yeah.
So, that Ninja Warrior just made it a thing. I have videos long before Ninja Warrior was on my radar, and. Hi, doggy.
Yeah, that's our dog. She makes it real for us here on the show sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I love it. So Ninja Warrior made it what it is today, but I had it long before. And then Ninja Warrior, I think I was on the show for 3 seasons before I took the mask off.
Oh, okay.
And then I took off the mask and didn't really say why I took the mask off. And then on the next following season is kind of where I had a big conversation with one of the producers his name is JD.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, listen, man, I know there's a story to it. And trust me, man, I'll do this right. You got to believe in me. I'm not going to do anything to make this, not tasteful, etc. And I was like, man,
Absolutely.
Listen, all right. If you're about it, then here you go, man. It's going to be a big pill to swallow, you know? And then that's when I opened up about my sexual trauma, my sexual abuse as a kid. And, you know, that's kind of one of the things that you really don't know what's going to happen until it happens.
Yeah.
And luckily he was very patient with me, you know, because I don't know if you know anybody personally that's gone through something like that, but that's for somebody that's never spoke about it, it's very difficult to say those words for yourself for the first time.
Absolutely.
So he made it very comfortable as possible, obviously, where he said, listen, it's just myself, one camera guy and a camera. That's it. We'll have this interview. We'll do it this way. So you feel most comfortable. And I felt so bad, but you know, it's just something you can't just, hey, just say it. Right. So it's like, I spent 1 hour just tears in front of camera after he's like, hey, so talk to me, tell me your story. And it's like, you know, you're just there like almost like a therapy session, really.
Yeah.
And you don't want to say it because like I knew that at that time Ninja Warrior was having millions of eyes on them.
Yeah.
Right. So I knew as soon as I said it to camera that was it. Like my decision had been made. Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's nothing I could do about it. So, you know, luckily you know, I've met the right people in my life where I can have these real conversations. Like my best friend, Sly Lewis, like he was one of the ones that I really leaned on for that kind of decision without really telling him like what had happened. He was kind of smart enough and he kind of put two and two together, you know, and the one thing that I love about having him is that he's always going to be real. Like if you always have that one person that's going to be real with you and say, listen, this could be the outcome, but this could also be the outcome. And he's kind of giving you your options because the one thing that I've learned in life, for every action, there's a reaction. Yep. So if my action is to say my story on national television, I have to now understand that the reaction could potentially be negative or positive or both. Right. And then with my story, my family's involved. So like now I got to figure out if I'm okay with the punishment that's going to come from my family. If there was a punishment even coming, I have no idea. You know, in those situations, you always think the worst of everything. And that's what we've been taught before we could even walk.
Absolutely.
You can't do this. Don't run. Don't do this. You're going to fall. You're going to get hurt. And like, we're conditioned to be afraid of things. And that holds us from being back. That holds us from being the persons we could potentially be in the long haul. And, you know, having somebody that's going to be real with you, I think is a very important key to life. You know, for me, it was only just him that's, you know, consistently been real with me. And, you know, that's altered my life in such a positive way that I just could never repay him. Even if I become a billionaire and give him $1 million, it is not enough to repay him for what he's done for me, you know? Absolutely. So I think having somebody like the JD producer, you know, having a Sly Lewis in your life and, you know, those people kind of just sticking around, letting you know, like, hey, listen, it's okay. Like, that doesn't make you who you are. And then that kind of branches out to like, oh, really? Like, now I don't have to hide. So now I can tell my story. And then you kind of like go to the world and you tell your story and then you're waiting for feedback. And then all of a sudden air date comes and then social media just like blows up. And I just remember once that interview came out, my social media just like blew up. My phone blew up. Like I had family, everybody calling me. And the most incredible thing that happened that night is not one single negative comment.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah, that is truly amazing. And because the fact that you're able to do that, because what science and research shows over and over and over again is a lot of times people that find themselves in you know, in a sexually abusive past don't have good outcomes in their adult lives. You know what I mean? Because it does stay bottled up. They don't get the help they need. They don't open up to anybody. And just somehow, some way, that trauma and hurt just gets basically misdirected in another way. And that's why it is so important to make it a conversation and not make it a taboo thing. So that's great that, because you also work with PAVE, right? And that's the goal with PAVE, to stop child sexual abuse, right?
Yeah. Yes, I do work with PAVE. I've actually got a manager this year, and now I'm doing much more than PAVE now. Okay. So I'm kind of really stepping into this speaking, sexual abuse speaking. What's the right word I'm looking for here? Kind of adventure. Okay. Where now, because when I came out about my story, I just wanted to help one person. I didn't know what it was going to become. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it becomes, oh, he's a male, he's Hispanic, and he went through this, and I'm like, whoa, time out. Like, what did I just step into? And without really realizing it, without the knowledge of like, yo, this is like a massive deal, not only just for yourself. Like, I was only thinking like about me and just helping one person. Like, I actually stepped into a really big world here where males are not really considered outspoken, right? Like,
yeah,
I was literally just at an event, a ninja event, and one of the parents with their kid, like, was just right there. He's like, hey, Flip, I followed your journey, yada, yada, yada. The kid stepped away like 2 steps, and that parent like grabbed my hand and pulled me close. He said, thank you for helping me find my voice. And I was like, that's just, you can't beat that feeling. You can't beat, helping somebody you don't even know you're helping.
Yeah. That's huge. That's massive. And so like something that you didn't think was going to be like that, you have the platform from the Ninja Warrior, and then you finally open up, and then now you opened up a can of worms where you can help so many people,
Yeah. And it's crazy because as much as I'm helping others, it's actually really helping myself. Like, I can't tell I'm sure you guys know, like, life is definitely going to smack you and put you down on your face sometimes, and how you learn. You got to learn to get up from those things. And if you don't learn how to get up, then you kind of just stay down and go through life, depressed and upset and etc. And you have to really find ways that'll work, or kind of really face your fear and trying to get back up and put yourself back out in the world, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So with our Coco Caliente merchandise, we use ShipStation.
Yes, we do.
One of my friends told me about it, who owns a boutique, and I absolutely love it. So if you're looking to sell anything online, like, getting your orders out can be a pain, getting them out in a timely manner, knowing what they ordered.
We learned the hard way because we try to do it on our own and just go to the post office and try to figure it out through there. But this makes it so much easier, and it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, ShipStation.com. It's the fastest, easiest, most affordable way to manage and ship your orders. It's just a few clicks, and you'll be printing out labels. You get products out fast, and you get... So, like, if I went to the post office, it's cheaper to sell it from home, or the postage is cheaper. So, I don't know how that works.
I don't know how Nicole just explained that, but doing it here through ShipStation is cheaper than going to the post office.
Yes, I start. Okay, sorry about that. So, also, no matter what you're selling, if you sell Amazon, Etsy, your own website, it brings all the orders into one simple, like, spreadsheet.
And that's what's the best thing about that, too.
Yeah, you can do it from your cell phone. So they use major carriers such as USPS, FedEx, UPS, even Amazon Fulfillment. So you can compare and choose the best shipping solution. That's something I do at home too, is I will say I have a scale and I weigh it and it tells me the cheapest way to ship it. Sometimes if you go to the post office, they're in a hurry and they're just like, throw it in this $10 envelope and just like, it's like, wait, no, I don't want to do that way.
Exactly.
So it's no wonder ShipStation is the number one choice of online sellers. You'll ship more in less time with the best rates available. Right now, Coco Caliente listeners can try ShipStation for free for 60 days when you use the offer code COCO, C-O-C-O. There's absolutely no risk. You can start your free trial without even entering your credit card information. Just visit ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in COCO. That's ShipStation.com, enter offer code COCO. Make ship happen.
Getting up from failure, I feel like when I was looking at the American Ninja Warrior stats, that's literally what that is, right? Because it's almost impossible, it seems like, to get through one of those things all the way through. So you fail, you pick yourself up, you come back next season, you try to do better. You fail, you pick yourself up, you come back again, do it. You know what I mean? Like, that has to be the biggest trial right there. I can't imagine, right?
Yep. Well, here's how Ninja Warrior works, which a lot of people don't really understand, is that Ninja Warrior works. We don't see what happens, what the course design is until the day of competition.
Okay.
So what that means is when we get there, we go through rules, regulations, things you can and cannot do, and then they go, okay, we're going to start running people, and that's it. You only get one shot. I've never tried any of these obstacles before. I've never stepped foot on that stage. Like, it's literally, you have to just be so good at adapting that it's so easy to metaphorically change that to life.
Yeah,
so I can't
It's weird to me that you don't get to like have a practice run or anything.
Yeah.
That you don't even know how like the structure of something feels, or when you're jumping, like grabbing something. That is just amazing to me. And then you're being recorded doing it also, and just like the stress of the situation has to be so overpowering.
And I also, for me, it would also be, is it, okay, can you watch the other competitors, right? So if like 3 guys go first, are they at a disadvantage because they went first and they couldn't even watch anybody else?
Right.
Technically, yes. So here's the way it works. A lot of people also don't know because they're not at the live tapings. Is all the athletes are confined to an area. Now, majority of the time, that area is not very visible to the course. But sometimes, most times, they give you a little TV to see what the camera sees. So you can see what the athlete is doing on there. But still, it's not the same as watching it in person as opposed to watching a TV screen, because you can't judge how far something is or how powerful you have to do something or on a monitor that's no bigger than what I grew up with, right? Like those little computer monitors, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's definitely a place where if you don't train hard enough, the course is really going to tell you like, hey, you should probably put more effort into this, you know? And if we all hit it at some point, you know, it all goes back to if you had a good day, what you do today, is anybody stressing you out, etc. You have to be on your A game all day so you can stay focused on the competition. And then you're focused on competition. You get there at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you don't run till 3 a.m. So it's like,
wow.
Right. So is it worse to go first? Yes, for the competition's sake, but it's good for your body if you're more of a, hey, I run at 9 o'clock kind of person.
Yeah.
Do you get
as
to
opposed
pick?
to 3 a.m.
Do you get
No.
to? Oh, they pick.
It's random. They say it's random. I don't know how they actually do it. They say it's random, so we just kind of have to go with it, right? So they just say, hey, your number this, and then whenever your number's up, then cool. If there's no technical difficulties, if you're lucky, then you'll go pretty soon.
So, okay, so then as all this is happening, how does one then train for such an event, right? How does this, what do you do, you know?
Yeah.
Pain. You got to fight pain, right? So here's what I've really just noticed. I started coaching Ninja Warrior last year. And what I've noticed is typically the people that go the furthest in Ninja Warrior are the ones that are willing to deal with more pain.
Okay.
Right. And the reason why I say that is because no matter how hard you train, if Ninja Warrior decides to make this course impossible, somebody's going to get the furthest. Right.
Absolutely.
So why can't it be me? So the way that works is when you're on a course and you're holding on to something and you have to fight, you're just inches away. That pain that strikes into your forearm, your bicep, your shoulders, your whole arm, your whole body, and then your mentality on top of that, that's just telling you to let go. It's who can push past that point first, or who can push past that point the furthest, right? So you could be the strongest ninja, but if I challenge you to what I like to call knockout, is where who can hold off a lock off the longest, for example. It's really just me versus you, and then who can endure the most pain the longest.
Okay. So when you're training, you try to put yourself in like a very, I guess, train to the point where you're in that state. So once you get in that state in real life in a competition, you're like, oh, I've been here before. I can get past this. It's not a big deal.
So it kind of seems more of like a mentally, you're training yourself a lot mentally.
Yes. I've been definitely training myself mentally. I think physically, a lot of the competitors on the show could definitely do Ninja Warrior if you take away the cameras, you take away the crowd, and it's just an average day.
Yep.
But you put a time slot in, hey, you have to go number 20, and then you're dealing with the weather, you're dealing with waiting 6 hours, you're dealing with cameras, you're dealing with crowd, you're dealing with the fans that are wanting to take photos with you, sign all this, and you have to play nice because, you know, we're all human beings at the end of the day. But at the same time, you're trying to focus on Ninja Warrior, but then you got to fight with your girlfriend, and then your mom was telling you to do this. And you get what I'm saying? Like, it's very easy to not be on your A game for those kind of competitions. where mentally you have to be able to psych yourself out to go, nothing else matters. Literally nothing matters right now besides this competition. So I have to do whatever I have to do to make sure I'm in the mind state where I can do my very best at this competition. And that just goes back to having the right people around you.
And do you have like a special like routine that you do before you go on?
You know what's very funny about that? Growing up, I was growing up with Ninja Warrior. My first few seasons, I had a routine I thought was solid. I put my music on. It was very aggressive music. And I didn't speak a word to anybody. I went out there and I crushed it. That same method doesn't work for me today.
Okay.
So I kind of have to, right now I'm still really figuring out 100%, but the method that I found so far that works is I have to keep my competition days and my regular days the same. Okay. I can't listen to more motivational stuff on my competition day because it throws my mentality and my sensor off. It makes me want to do more. It makes me more nervous, or it makes me anxious, depending on what I'm thinking about. But I have to keep it just an average day because I train 364 days out of the year for this one day. Wow. And I have to not make that one day so special, because that's when all the nerves, the anxiety, the stress, all the weight on your shoulders come about, because everyone expects Flip Rodriguez to be the fastest and the best, because that's what he's shown in the previous seasons. And
what's crazy is, like you said, it's one day, so you could spend the whole year training, and then you realize, okay, this wasn't the right routine. Now I have a whole nother year to try another routine. It's a lot it's a lot of waiting. Wow. Yeah.
It is, but you know what's good now is the ninja community is so massive now that there's so many competitions that you could start dabbling in it, even though those competitions aren't to the magnitude of American Ninja Warrior, but you can still start playing with it, right? Because the competition's a competition if you're a competitor. You want to win it all. You don't want to win just Ninja Warrior, right? So you're literally figuring it out with all these small competitions, and you get to go out and talk to, if you're like myself or a Drew Dressel or, Joe Moravsky, when you go to these ninja competitions, people go, oh, that's Flip. Oh, that's Drew. Oh, that's Joe. And then they come up, sign, and want pictures, which is all cool. But at the same time, you're there for competition. So it kind of mirrors Ninja Warrior, just not to the magnitude of it. So you get the same kind of feeling and you figure out your formula, you compete, and then you get to stay and hang out and watch everybody else.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so it's kind of like a practice in a way. Like you can get that mindset and everything.
Right. So the more you compete in these little competitions, the better off you'll be on the big stage, because you get, as long as your mentality relates both of them, right? Yeah. Some people might go, oh, no, I can't. That's way different. Like this was just in a small gym. This is on big stage in Universal Backlot. And then you're like, well, hold on, time out. Let's really like calibrate this. Like it's just obstacle course and an obstacle course. There's people here watching. There's people there watching. People have their phone cameras out here. They just have bigger cameras on Ninja Warrior. So it's really kind of the same. It's just you're probably waiting a lot longer on Ninja Warrior to take your shot at the course, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And so for somebody like you, obviously now you do a lot of stuff outside of Ninja Warrior, and you're Stuntman as well. And so that can sustain income while you're doing, these shows. When you first started, and I think you first started back in 2013, is that 13?
Started what?
Ninja Warrior. When did Ninja Warrior actually? Okay,
yeah, so season 3.
Okay, so when that started, what were you doing for income at that time, or had you already started doing the Stuntman work?
I had 2 jobs doing that. I was not doing stunts, unfortunately. Yeah. But I was working in a flower industry.
Were you like a botanist?
No. More wholesale.
Okay.
So I was a buyer. I was a seller. I was in the warehouse. I was data entry. I literally did everything from the bottom up in the company. And then I also was a parkour and free running coach. So my time would be from 8 to like 3 in the afternoon, if I remember correctly, at the flower industry. And then I would coach from like 4 to 8.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. And so that's what I mean. Like somebody, and especially you guys in the early stages of all this, you really had to hustle to be able to do what you loved, right? It's not like, oh, this is a full-time job right now for me. I can do Stuntman, Hollywood stuff, get paid for it, and do Ninja Warrior, and it doesn't like envelop just every second of my day,
Yep. It's hard because especially with stunts, I don't know if you guys ever been on a movie set, but for us personally, we always have to be on call and ready to go.
Oh.
Right. So we're on set 14, 15, 16, 12-hour days, right? Depending on what's going on in that specific time. But anywhere from 12 to 16-hour days. And then I have to go, you know what? I have to go train.
Yeah.
Or I have to go before. So typically if it's day shoot, we have to be there at 5:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning. So that means I have to be up by 2:30 to be at the gym by 3 so I can get my hour or hour and a half in training. So then that way I can be on set on time.
That's crazy. And so, because I was looking on your Instagram, and one of the last things that you posted for like stuntman work, it was like an explosion. And I was like, that's a legit explosion. Like 3 guys are being exploded and like up into the air and like doing a flip to get out of it, essentially. Like how does stuff like that work? Like are you not scared of getting injured, or is there, the like perfect way to go up and then fall? And like, how does that,
That also comes with training, right? Keeping the people around you. Actually, that specific video you're talking about, my best friend Sly's inside the video as well. He's right next to me being exploded as well. But having people around you that you really trust, man, like, because like stunts is a serious job. Like, I don't think people understand how the risk that we put ourselves through to just give you guys 2 minutes worth of action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's like 2 or 3 weeks of action that we put our bodies through for your 2 minutes of enjoyment.
Wow.
Like seriously, like I'm not
very
I'm not
underappreciated. Very underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with that, like for me personally, I'm not your average stunt guy. I'm not going to just work with any stunt coordinator. Like I have to trust you. Not only have to trust you, I have to trust my life in your hands, because you guys are the ones essentially setting up these life-threatening stunts. Everything's obviously in the safest way possible, but still anything can go wrong, right? For example, I was working on Bad Boys 3 and I had to get hit by a truck inside a chop shop. That truck barely fit in the chop shop.
So falling to the side of it in and of itself was dangerous, because if you don't clear it, you're going to get hit.
Well, no, I had to get hit.
Oh yeah, I saw that video. That video was on
that
video was on your Instagram too. But I'm saying, like, falling to the side of the truck, like that could have been really bad.
What was your worry? Yeah, what was the worry? I mean, obviously getting hit by a truck, I have a lot of worries. But you being a stuntman, what were you like
worried
nervous
about in that scene specifically?
Well, so there's so many variables that can happen. So my concern is the driver mostly. Because if that driver decides to press the gas as I'm about to get hit, I'm not only going to get hit harder, but it's going to change my trajectory of what I previously planned in the moment of his speed.
Oh, okay.
Right? So if you watch that video, it looks like I hit something with my back after I got hit by the truck. That's another vehicle. If he decided to increase his speed at the last second, I potentially could have been on top of that vehicle, if not hitting one of the pillars, because it made me go farther out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And then also I got to think when I'm about to hit the ground, I got to keep my hands and feet closer to me so I don't get ran over by the truck.
Dang.
Yeah.
And so what's the craziest stunt that you've had to do? Like, what's the most bizarre one where you're like, man, you know what? I don't know if I want to do that one, but you're like, let's go for it. Or is there,
That's a great question. I think that's a personal question. In the sense, because like what's crazy to me may not be crazy to you, and vice versa.
Fair enough.
So for me, if I would have to pick one of the most dangerous stunts, would have to be that truck hit, because there was just so many variables. Like, put it this way, one of the takes, this truck was coming around the corner, and it's a very tight corner. All right, he was coming through, and I'm like hyping myself up right before I get hit. Right, so I'm hyping, I'm ready, like I'm about to get hit by a truck, and I know it's gonna suck, but I got to do it anyways. And boom, and he crashes into the wall. So now cut, reset. So now what happens what happens is my adrenaline is rushing, and now I have to slow it down because we're not ready. Now it takes 15 minutes to reset this truck and fix the cameras and make sure the cameras are ready, etc. And now I have to get ready again.
Well, right? And then how does it not mess up your mind? Like, this guy just ran into the wall.
It does. It plays. That's what I'm saying. There's so many variables. So like, to me, that specific scene was not only probably one of my most proudest moments, but one of the more dangerous spots I've been in personally, because anything could go wrong that I have no control of.
Yeah.
Do they usually make you do a couple takes of like a stunt, or once they see one really good one, they're fine? You have to do it a couple times?
It really depends. I've done, I don't know if you guys have seen Mr. Mercedes. It's a Stephen King novel.
I will now.
They made it into they made it into a TV series. So the pilot of that TV series, the opening scenes of that, the Mercedes, I actually got hit probably like anywhere between 20 and 30 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
And then changing angles, doing it like this, and then it's just comes with the territory. So you really have to be built. But what I love most about stunts is stunts will tell you what kind of person you are. If they say, hey, listen, Flip, we're gonna hire you, we're gonna put you in this spot, and you say okay because you're home and you feel safe, that's one thing. But when you get to set and they go, okay, Flip, you ready? Yes. And then you hear 3, 2, 1, action. This truck's coming at you. Now, your job is you're supposed to go. But if you get so scared that you decide not to go, that tells you who you are as an individual. Maybe you're just not cut out for that kind of scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Maybe that's not your kind of lifestyle where you take risks and you do these things that people believe is bizarre.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'd be like, no, thank you. I don't know. I'd be too scared.
Yeah, and for me, that is the most amazing feeling right there, is to be scared and do it anyways, because your mental game has to be so strong to go, all right, Flip, good job. You just got by the truck. Guess what? We got to go again. Mm-hmm. And now not only do you know what it feels like to get hit by a truck, you got to do it again.
How did you start to get into, like, when did you want to start doing stunts?
In 2011, I did my first stunt gig. Sly Lewis is a really big stuntman in this industry. So in Miami, we did what was called Step Up Revolution, that was shot in Florida, and it was requiring a lot of parkour and free running athletes. Naturally, he was like, "Hey, listen, you guys are all a team. I'm gonna put you guys' name in for this spot, and then we're gonna get you guys in." So he put us in. We started shooting all of it, and I was like, "Oh, this is like, I get to do all this stuff with permission." Okay, I would love to do this, you know. And then you kind of start meeting people, you start training, you start putting yourself in these positions where you could succeed, and you know, it just one job after another. You know, it wasn't fast, but I got there. You know, so I was getting maybe one job a year, maybe. When I first started, and then it just kind of started snowballing its way down to where I started consistently working. So it's something that I'm honored and blessed to have in my life, because it always keeps my mind sharp.
Yeah. And what an amazing job to have. Essentially, I mean, that's the dream, right? Doing what you love, and like you said, you get to do that for a living. So do you live in LA now, or are you still in Florida?
I'm in LA right now. I'm actually moving to Florida, but my date is undetermined at the moment. I'm actually going to pursue what I'm more passionate about, is coaching Ninja Warrior.
Oh, okay. See, and just having the ability to do that, right? Like, you were living in LA, just doing all the stunt stuff all the time, and now you're like, you know what? Now, next chapter. Like, that's such an honor to be able to do that, right? So
yeah, I think that's amazing. I'm going to open up my own gym in Florida. With my buddy Drew Dressel, and then at the same time, I'm going to really dive into this speaking passion that I'm starting to fall into, because believe it or not, I'm more nervous speaking than I am in stunts.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah. I like it. Literally, like, it drives me crazy, because I'm like on stage, I'm nervous, I'm mumbling. I get really hot. I don't know if you guys get hot when you're nervous.
Yeah, sweating.
Yes.
Not only sweating, but your ears feel like the cartoons when they get really red and the smoke comes out.
Yes.
Like, I'm not even lying to you. I could be literally cold right before I step on stage. And the moment I'm on stage, I am sweating.
Yeah, for me, it's scary too. Public speaking is, but hey, you like to put yourself in those situations and then conquer them. So this sounds like a great like a great new journey for you.
Yep, and that's the whole reason why another reason why I'm taking it is because, like, we're all human, right? Like, if you don't learn to put yourself in these situations, you're never really going to grow. And that's a message in itself that I believe people should learn and hear about. So as long as I'm authentic, I'm really real to people, and I'm looking to give these people some kind of like viable advice on things where, listen, you have to do these kind of things to be better and to grow as an individual. Like, don't take it just from me. That's just how I live my life. But just try one thing where you're really nervous to do something. Just go try it. You never know what's going to happen. And it just might be your thing, you know?
Super true.
Absolutely. And you're currently working on a book right now too, is that correct?
Yes. I'm working on my first book, which I didn't even imagine could be possible. You know, I've always lived by this quote, get comfortable being uncomfortable, over the last few years.
Yep.
And that's probably going to be potentially the name of my book. It's really more of a story. It's going to get really in depth in my story and my sexual trauma and how I dealt with it. You know, I don't think there's a blueprint in life to do things the right or wrong way. I don't think you can tell somebody how to deal with their stress, their anxiety, their trauma in a specific order, because everybody's just different. We're all wired differently.
Absolutely.
You know, where most people like therapy, I was 100% against it. Not only growing up, I was against it more because of my own sanity, because I'm a man, right? And as men, we have to be strong. We have to be these tough guys, you know, and that's kind of like the mentality that I grew up with or was taught to me.
Yeah.
And that's probably not 100% true. And for me, growing up through those steps, I kind of had to learn how to handle my life and all these situations and how to become better. And you have to want to be better, and you have to find role models. Like, my biggest thing is when people are like really down or depressed, or they see life and they don't really see much of it, really, that you have to find a role model. And for me, Will Smith was the biggest role model for me growing up, right?
Yeah, he's awesome.
I've watched all his interviews. I watched his interviews on laying the brick down as perfectly as possible. You just lay one brick down and then the next one, and eventually you have a wall. If you're not making someone else's life better, you're wasting your time, etc. I could literally go down a whole list of things that I've learned from him, and I've never met him at that point. Like, growing up, I never met him. Obviously, I met him on Bad Boys 3, which was a whole other
cool.
experience.
That is.
I was going to ask you, like, who's the coolest person you met? There you go.
Listen, I will 100% tell you a quick story about that. But it's those things that people don't realize that impact you so much. Like, you have to find somebody you idolize and you role model, because when you're at your lowest, you have to find somebody that's at their highest, right? And you have to model them. And why do you model them is the most important question, right? So as long as you find good influences in your life and you truly believe what their message is, just know, to your best of your ability, try to follow them and try to live your life happy in the way that they're trying to show you how life should be, right? So meeting him on Bad Boys 3 was the best moment in my life.
Oh,
right?
That's awesome.
I was on Bad Boys 3 before I even realized I was hearing a voice that was like a household voice to me. Right? Like, I once I started following him on YouTube and all his his videos on interviews and stuff, I started watching Fresh Prince naturally. Yeah. And then I fell asleep watching Fresh Prince every night. Like, I could probably still give you all the lines to this day to each episode from how much I watched it, right? And his voice it was like hearing your parents. When you hear your parents' voice, you're like, oh, you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So on set, I had the strangest comfortable feeling I've ever had on set.
Wow.
With somebody I've never met. So then my best friend, Sly Lewis, was also a stuntman in the movie. He said he was on the movie from beginning to end, so he got to know Will a little bit better than I did.
Yep.
But he's like, yo, Will, like, listen, this kid is on set. He's a stunt guy. This is what he does. You're not his idol. You're like his life mentor without you even realizing it, right? Like, I need you to, if possible, to spend 5 minutes, have a conversation, just let him tell you his story. Mind you, he never told me that Will was coming to me.
Yeah, wow.
I had no idea. So I'm on set in that chop shop, and all of a sudden Will makes eye contact with me and he walks towards my direction. I'm like, I was like, no way, right? Like this, like that, like what's crazy is I got into a state. You ever seen a dog when they do something bad, they tuck their tail in and they kind of like bow their head?
They know
that's
what's
exactly,
up. Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt when he was coming. Cause like, it was almost like the biggest thing in the world is coming towards me right now.
Yeah.
Right. And he was like, yo, Flip, how are you, man? Like, my name's Will. Like, yo, I hear this. How you doing, man? What's going on? I was like, like literally speechless, right? Yeah. I was like, yo, and then like after like a second, I was like, oh, I gotta seize the moment. So I was like, hey, Will, man, listen, I just first like true to God, like from man to man, I appreciate everything you do. This, and then of course tears come out. I'm crying, and then you know he's like, yeah, man, like, oh, I appreciate that, yada yada. And then he said, yo, why are you sorry? I said, listen, Matt, like you don't understand the value that you've brought into my life and how much I live and idolize through you, through how I believe you see life. And all this. Like I am now on a journey where I'm helping other people simply because you helped me without even realizing you helped me.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And then he was like, yo, this is the craziest story. Like, wow, like this is crazy. Like, I appreciate you. But not only just meeting him as an individual, like after that conversation, every time he saw me on set, no matter where I was, even if we weren't on set, we're in the Bad Boys 3 gym working out or whatever. No matter where I was, this Will would spot me and 100% make his way all the way to me across the gym and say, yo, Flip, how you doing? You all right? You good? All right, cool, baby. Keep doing your thing. And then
that's awesome.
Always made, so things like that go like, damn, bro, like that's what life's about. Like it's helping other people and through their time of need. Like, even if you don't know it, there's eyes on you, like looking to you for inspiration and how you live life. And I truly believe that we're nothing in this world unless we help people.
That is awesome.
That is such a cool, like complete circle of life. Like you will get to hang out with Will Smith, your idol, on a set of a movie, and then he comes up to you every single time he sees you, like, holy cow.
And I bet you in your mind, you're going through like, he has so many other things that he could be doing right now, right? Such a busy guy, and he's making that effort just, and like you said, it could be nothing, right? Some people could see that as nothing, but that's a big deal. And that means something. Oh, yeah, that's
a big deal.
You know, that's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's huge. You know, like my Sly Lewis is now working with him right now on a movie. And Will ask Sly, like, yo, how's Flip doing?
Aww.
Like,
wow.
Just think about the magnitude of that process. Like, he's like, yo, this dude's story is crazy. Like, let me check in on him now that I have the opportunity to meet. He might not go 100% out of his way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't expect anybody to do, right? Like, that's a little bit much. But he's like, yo, this is Sly. Sly is Flip. All right, Sly, how's he doing?
Exactly.
And then he's like, yo, that dude's the craziest story, man. Like, I'll never forget him and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, yo, like, those are the impacts that you got that make people's lives. Like, when you come from a story of what I have from being sexually abused, and then to have a thought of suicide, to now the person that helped you through it all without knowing he's helping you cares enough to ask about you, you're like 100% satisfied. You're like, yo, I did the right thing.
Yeah.
I chose the right person, and now I can live my life through him, not through him, but through myself now, through my own path where I could do the same. Essentially, I could do the same for somebody else.
For sure.
Maybe not to the magnitude of a Will Smith, but I can touch 1 million lives before I die.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing. That's a cool
inspiring.
story.
Yeah. Are you going to include that story in your book?
You have to.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I was going to say, that's like such a good story.
Right at the end there. Make it a full circle.
There'll be an introduction where I thank the people that have been very beneficial to my life and been always there for me, and he's going to be one of them. Ideally, I'd send him a copy of it, you know, and if he has a chance to read it or does or doesn't, you know, whatever it may be. But, you know, it's just things like that for me personally, like, you're constantly growing and you're constantly trying to find your next why. Like, for me, 7 years ago, it wasn't the same reason why I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you always got to find your why, and my why is constantly changing. And, I think the next thing of my life and my journey is to help people, not through Ninja Warrior per se, but through my own voice, even though I may not always be as comfortable as I am on stage of Ninja Warrior as I am on the public speaking stage. And I'll stumble my words. I might even mess up. I might even get booed. But if one person takes from it, you know what I mean?
That's
then
all.
It's really worth it.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to go out on a whim here and say you're Hispanic. Rodriguez.
100%. See.
From where?
Well, I was born in South Florida in Miami, and my parents are Dominican, Puerto Rican, but one of my grandparents is Cuban. So I basically got the tropical island right there.
Hey.
Everything besides Jamaica.
No, that's awesome. Because yo soy Boricua, right? So I'm from Puerto Rico. My mom and dad both from Puerto Rico. Yo nací, yeah. And then, so actually my best friends in college, it was me from Puerto Rico, El Cubano, right? Jorge, and then the Dominican, which was Marino, right? So they called us the trio Los Isleños.
There you go.
Exactly. So I want to have you join in on our Spanish word of the day.
Oh, geez.
Okay. So, and I'm going to let you pick the word, right? So this is what we do. I always pick a word in Spanish, and it could be anything, right? Anything that we talked about or whatever, and you give the word to Nicole, and she's going to guess what the word is.
Wow, I'm really on the spot here. Sometimes I get it right. Mostly I get it wrong. Don't do it too hard.
No. Okay. Hold on. Let me think. It's got to be a good one. It can't just be just any old word. Let me think here.
You're welcome, baby.
Oh man, that's a good one. Hold on.
This is funny.
That would be a little bit too easy if I went with that one.
See,
yes, I have.
He's understanding the difficulty that I have on my end.
Victor has a hard time sometimes choosing a word
because I don't want to make it too hard, but I don't want to make it too easy. And then sometimes I just say, forget it. Let's see what happens.
The ones that you think are easy are probably not easy at all.
That's also true.
I know water. I'm teasing. He's never done this before. So.
No,
I've personally never done it before, to be honest with you. But I'm trying to get one that's meaningful. So we'll see. Well, how about?
Okay, that's good.
Here we go.
It's just one word, right?
Just one word. Yep.
All right. So I can't do that one.
You can do a phrase.
I mean, yeah.
No. We'll stick to one word. Okay. That's how you do it. We'll stick to one word. All right. I'm gonna throw you a bone here.
Oh gosh. I'll probably still get it wrong.
No, you'll be all right. Vida.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wait, can you say it again?
Vida.
Vida?
Vida. V-I-D-A.
Okay. Isn't there a thing called Pura Vida? Does it have to do with that, like life?
Yes.
Wait, really?
Hey! There you go. You got it.
Yeah,
okay.
That's awesome. So what you were saying pura vida, so that means pure life.
Okay, because I remember I've seen that before. So that that helped me.
Yeah,
I like that one.
That's good.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I am impressed, Nicole. You really shine, and thank you, Flip. That was a great word to pick.
Thank you guys for letting me choose a word. I mean, it was difficult for sure.
You got a little taste of what I go through every week and just picking one word. But our listeners love that because they feel like they're learning Spanish words every time. So it's really cool.
Right. That's awesome.
But anyway, we thank you so much for being on the show with us today. You're such an inspiration. Just tell our listeners here where they can find you, where they can follow you on social media, and yeah.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on social media, YoungFlip7. It's generally all my social media stuff. I don't have Twitter anymore, so it's really Facebook and Instagram only for me. Mostly Instagram. If you want to reach me, Instagram would be the way for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. YoungFlip7. Everybody heard it here. Thank you so much for spending this afternoon with us.
It was so much fun, and I'm so excited to see what you do next.
Yes, we'll be on the watch.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me, and I hope you guys have more success than you guys could ever imagine.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Wow.
I loved that conversation.
I know, and what an inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Just to come from like, I like to run around and jump and use my energy, and then next thing you know, it like snowballs into what it's a career now.
Now he's helping so many people.
So many people.
Gonna be opening a gym, gonna be helping people become...
Writing a book.
Yeah.
Like it's... just what an inspirational guy. It was an honor to have him on the show. That was a lot of fun.
And it's really okay. So when you see somebody on American Ninja Warrior, you kind of don't know what their personality is. You don't know a lot about them. You just know
Absolutely.
they're like tough and they can do like all these tricks and stuff.
Yeah.
But to hear him and like I loved talking to him because he had such a personality.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know. I just feel like we could hang out with him and he could be one of our friends.
Yeah,
for
added
sure.
a lot of depth. I hope people listen to this that watch Ninja Warrior, so when next time they see him, they're like, wow, he has a heck of a story, and he's a fun, cool guy.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
But anyway, he did our Spanish word of the day, so good job, baby. You got that one.
Thank you.
That was fun. And now, Nicole, what do you got for us for weird or normal?
Okay, how about swallowing your gum?
Oh, that's very normal.
No, it's not.
What?
Why would anybody swallow their gum, though?
What do you mean? I swallow my gum all the time.
No, you don't. I've never seen you do that. That's disgusting.
I literally I swallow my gum all the time. I don't spit it out.
No, you don't.
I feel like it's your body.
Do you swear?
I swear.
I never see you swallow your gum, but if I did, I thought we were both going to be on the side of like, that's super weird.
Why is that super weird?
Because why would you swallow? Like, I know it's not a real thing that it stays in your body for 7 years, but why would you swallow gum when you can just like spit it in the trash?
Because I don't know.
It could get stuck in your throat. It's not like
it can get
food.
stuck in your throat.
It's not food.
Your body decomposes it and breaks it down anyway. It's just like anything else.
No, it's not like anything else.
You know why? You know why I swallow my gum? This is you just got me on a tirade.
Because
okay?
you see people put it underneath desks.
Oh my God, underneath desks, even worse, on the sidewalks. Have you walked in a busy street in like New York or California or something, and you see those black spots all over the place? That's gum.
Okay.
That's somebody that spit out their gum, and everybody's been walking on it for the last 3 years, and now it's just ingrained on the side. They pay people, time out, they pay people in front of big, nice buildings to go get gum.
Okay, so this is my point. If it's sticking around for 3 years on a sidewalk with all of the turmoil and the feet, the weather, do you know that is not good for your body?
Well, so it goes into my stomach. Mm-hmm. My stomach acids break it. So the acids that we have in our stomach can cut through this table. Did you know that?
I think that's a little exaggerant.
No, I'm being dead serious. I mean, somebody can fact check me on that, but I am almost positive that it can break down pretty much anything. And if it wasn't for the lining of our stomach, it would just cut through all our intestines.
Yes.
It can break down stuff like that, no problem. Do we have that in the real world on a normal basis?
I just don't think you're supposed to swallow your gum. It does not say
It does not say
chew and
don't swallow. The same way it doesn't say directions. Chew and spit out. And it doesn't also say advisory.
Oh my gosh, I did
swallow.
not know you swallow your gum. I feel differently about you.
Are you joking right now? Are you? Is that?
You've hit it for me really well. You don't chew gum often. I don't chew gum because I can't breathe when I chew gum.
When I chew gum, you're like, why are you chewing your gum like that? You're chewing angry. And I'm like, I'm just chewing
Yeah, he
gum.
does.
She's like, ever since you became a cop, you chew your gum like a cop, and it's like angry.
He's so cool. You can tell how someone is just by how they chew gum.
Oh my gosh.
He's like,
you're ridiculous. That was the most I remember when she said that to me the first time. I was like, what are you talking? I'm chewing my gum like a normal person.
No, you do not chew gum like a normal person.
How do I not chew? I put it on one side of my mouth and I chew. Sometimes with my mouth open.
He chews like he's on a mission to, chase someone down or something.
Oh my God.
It is weird.
Do you hear yourself? Are you hearing yourself?
You guys,
right now?
you do not swallow your gum, do you?
Yes, you do.
Come on. That's
okay,
just
we're going to put a poll on. So
I was 14 before I learned how to swallow ibuprofen. I am not about to start swallowing my gum at 27 and I choke and die on swallowing my gum.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying I swallow my gum, and I don't think that's weird. So what we're going to do is whenever this podcast comes out, we're going to put a poll on the Coco Caliente page, and you're going to say, but you okay, so this is also a problem when Nicole does the polls, right? She sways the phrasing to make it sound like what I'm doing is negative.
No, so I'll just put swallow gum, spit gum out.
No, just swallow gum, yes, no. That's all you got to do. Swallow gum, yes, no. Or because Nicole will say, is it weird and nasty to swallow your gum?
It is.
And is it weird, nasty, and unhealthy to swallow your gum? And you're going to write yes. And obviously, if you phrase it like that, most people are going to say yes. So, anyway.
No, people are honest with it. You're going to definitely lose this one.
Well, people are wrong.
All the people who put their gum all over the streets have proven that they don't swallow their gum.
And those are all very irresponsible.
Yeah, you shouldn't litter. Like, if you're going to litter or swallow
I can't tell you the nastiest feeling, and I don't even touch handrails anymore, but the nastiest feeling is touching a handrail or putting your hand under a desk and feeling somebody's old piece of gum.
Would you ever, for $100,000... if I took you outside right now and made you scrape off a piece of gum and chew it, would you do it?
For $100,000? For
$100,000.
I probably
non-taxable.
would, but I would probably throw up. Okay. I would probably throw up after, during. Oh my God, that's so nasty. Just thinking about it. I remember I told Nicole the other day, I was like, babe, he doesn't talk, by the way, the other day, he doesn't go like up to me like he talks all seductive on the podcast. Like, babe. He doesn't do that. It's more like, babe, hey. Like, no, so babe.
You don't do that.
What if there was a bowl of soup? This is what I told her.
Okay, no,
this is what I told her the
this
other
makes
day.
Me
and this
gag.
So I was like, babe.
This was like a couple weeks ago.
Let's say you got a bowl of tortilla soup. And
I'm already gonna gag.
If I paid you, you got a bowl of tortilla soup, and then you go and you take a fork, not even a spoon, but you take a fork and you dip it in the soup and you pull it up and you start pulling a hair, and that hair is attached to a bunch of hairs.
Stop.
And you're slowly pulling it up, and it's just all.
Stop it. You know what? If you
She's literally tearing right now. She's about to throw up.
I have the weakest stomach. I need to quit visualizing this. I would rather chop my pinky off with a butter knife than eat a bowl of soup of hair.
It's not even eating that bowl of soup. It's because I can just picture like all the soup attached to that hair.
All right, thank you all so much. Oh, we gotta do reviews.
All right, I'm done.
Now you just made everyone vomit in their car.
The only way, if you don't visualize it, it's not bad. But once you start visualizing
I can visualize it.
It's very horrible. So, yes, we're going to go and read our reviews because we love you guys so much. We appreciate everything you do for us. Without you, there is no us. So I'm going to take it away with a review. This is called The Best with a bunch of exclamation points, 5 stars. Absolutely love listening to this podcast. I've been a fan of Nicole's since BB16. I love that through everything, she remains the same quirky Midwest small town girl we met in the beginning.
Aww.
I love that they cover topics in life, not just reality TV. And I love the playful nature between Nic and Vic and wish them all the happiness in the world.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much.
Nick Lynn, thank you. Yeah, that was really nice. Really, really sweet of you. And we do our best over here to really be.
No, he's sitting here trying to make me vomit.
I'm sorry, babe. I'm just saying it's just one of those things that the thing is, Nicole will come up with these random things. And all the time, and just be like, "Oh, would you?
I
do
ask
this?
him, would you rather
do that? Blah 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 blah." I mean, it's just pretty crazy.
It's hilarious.
All right, Nicole, take it away.
Mine's 5 stars, called "They Have Me Hooked." I have been on board with this podcast since Nicole first posted about it on Instagram and was super excited. I watched her on her first season of Big Brother and instantly related to her bubbly personality. I watched her again on the second season and just wanted to get to know her even more. I like that she's more private and not into putting everything out onto social media, and how she craves human contact over technology. Yes, I definitely do. You understand me, because I am the same way. I think her relationship with Victor, from what we've seen and heard, is beautiful, and they really inspire me. I am so excited for this podcast and cannot wait for what else to come. That is from Nathalie. How do I say that?
I don't know.
Elise? I can't really see from...
Nathalie, yeah. Nathalie Elise.
That was so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really sweet. And that was way back. That's an old one. That's
nice. I hope they still feel that way.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. The easiest way is on the little purple app on your iPhone, Apple Podcasts. You can listen to this anywhere you listen to podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can always go to www.cococalientepodcast.com. You can listen there and you can check out our merchandise. Don't forget to follow us at Coco Caliente Pod on Twitter and at Coco Caliente Podcast on Instagram.
And have you guys checked out Victor's new teeth? If not, check out my latest Instagram post.
Well, it wouldn't be the latest now. It'd be like...
How do you know?
A few ago.
A few ago.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.